how would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have the founder of HireSmart Virtual Employees. So tell us, guys, what are the 5 steps to make your first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Okay, I'll take that and I'll get started with it. I'm the visionary in our business, and I'm always trying to find ways to create solutions where maybe somebody hasn't had that, or make things better. So the first thing in starting any business, you've really got to identify what the problem is you're trying to solve, and know that very well up front.
Number 2 is be willing to serve others. We believe that as entrepreneurs, we're given the gift of being able not only to problem solve, but to serve. And if you are serving people, it was going to come back to you in spades.
Third, watch your friends. There'll be many people around you that'll tell you, you can't do that. That's too big a risk. I don't know why you're even trying that. And sometimes it means you have to change your sandbox, as we call it.
Number 4 is do what other people aren't doing. We have always been, if everybody's going this direction, we're going this direction. So we always do what nobody else is doing so that we can stand out in a crowd.
And I think last, it kind of sums it all up, is never stop learning. Always pay for getting an education, whether it's going to a conference, listening to a book, attending a podcast, wherever it is. Invest your time and invest your money. Don't assume you've got all the answers, because there's always much more to learn.
Well, I think that both of you are fantastic. And I have a question, and it's regarding, wow, your business have been a decade, over 10 years. That's a long life for business. And
We're
tell
just getting
us,
started.
oh my God, and look at you, full of energy, getting started. However, in this podcast, we have asked to a lot of entrepreneurs, right, successful with exits, that if they had to start all over again, what they will do different. And a lot of people are giving me the answer that culture, that if they pay more attention to culture, that if they knew that building the business is going to be 10 times, 100 times harder, and it's going to be so long, they will pay more attention to culture, meaning what people do you bring to your organization. You need to start from early age in your business to hire smart. So in your views, in your professional views, if it's really true that culture have a huge impact in the organization, or this is just something fancy that we just say and it sound good.
I believe culture is a big part of being able to hire smart. We here have a very set, and have for many, many, many years, a set of core values that we live by. And when we are hiring people, we talk about that. And we share with people all the time that if this doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. Like, you just can't work here. And again, we talked about service as being one of the ways to, get your first million. We believe that all of our people are here to serve each other as a team, serve our clients, serve our professionals. And so for us, if you don't have a servant mindset, you won't be successful here at HireSmart. And I think people, again, they think, oh, this person's got a great skill set, and so I really need this skill set, so I'm going to hire this person, when they don't really kind of go underneath the curtains and say, does this person really align with my core values? Because again, especially in your management team, your executive team, if they're not aligned with your values, they're rowing the boat in a totally separate direction than you want to go as the business owner.
Yeah, and then just looking at the skill set doesn't always qualify somebody. It's their heart.
Yeah.
And we can train, we can teach. And I know you don't want to hire somebody that doesn't know anything, but if they've got some good basic knowledge of business, you bring them on. If they have a good heart, you can train them and teach them. They do not have to have all the skills to do the job to fit in your company.
Basically, the way that we hire have changed completely, right? Before, everybody, or we have the perception that, well, if we need someone to work in this organization, let's put a job description. This is the role that the person had to do. You put it out there, and then this is how you find the employee. You ask, okay, do you know how to do this role? How much experience do you have? And then people will bring into organizations that have nothing to do with the way that we have to do today, where a lot of things take into consideration, especially what you were sharing about the heart, meaning the value, something that Anne was stressing. You see, the value of the company has to align with the value of the individual, regardless which role this is going to do in the organization, because if those values don't align, it doesn't matter. Even in my own company, right? Sometimes people can learn, they can learn. For us, even we don't mind if they take them slow to learn, right? Because eventually they will. But it's these core values that align with the values of our company. This is something really important. So for you guys that you are an expert on the field, how important do you think that because Anne was describing, to work in your company, you have to align with the values of this company. Now, when we're hiring for other companies, how important do you think that to take into consideration how the new employee will align with the values of the organization?
So again, we do help other people hire for their organization, and we go a slightly different route in that we, as a recruiter, go through and we vet all the skills, right? So we make sure we've got the right person with the right personality and the right role, and we give our clients 3 to choose from. Then they can choose the one that they like, that they feel is best aligned for them. So it's a totally different, more scientific way to hire, and therefore we end up getting better results. We have over a 98% success rate in our placements because of our methodology and how we do that, because we also believe that you can take somebody that has the right heart and train them, but people like to do what they like to do. And that doesn't really change much.
That's their personality.
That's their personality. That's what, you can't get somebody who hates to be on the phone to love being on the phone 100% of the time, right? So one of the things that we do is we make it super simple for our clients to choose the one they like by making sure that everybody that we present to them actually has the skill sets to do the job and to do the role.
So then, yeah. So then the other thing is how can you hire more effectively? And if you do some psychological tests, that would be helpful for the employee to perform more.
So we do those psychology tests. We do not provide them to our clients because our clients don't really understand them. And because we only hire out of the Philippines, there are cultural differences. So I've actually spent the last 5-6 years understanding the differentials and what is successful and what isn't. And so, people who ask me, well, can I have, a Colby test, or can I have them do a cultural index? My response to them is, no, you're paying me to do this work. I am an expert in this field. I hire thousands of people. I've been through lots of training. You want to do your Colby or your whatever, but you don't understand the Philippines and the Philippine mindset and culture. So
the results are going to be different than an American making or taking that test.
So now if you're hiring a U.S. person and you're a U.S. person and you've really truly studied and understand those tests, then it makes sense to give them to your U.S. people. But in our realm, and what we do, it just makes it more confusing to our clients rather than just trusting me that I kind of know what I'm doing. And we, again, have a very high success rate in our placement.
We put somebody that wants to work for one of our clients is put through a battery of tests, a battery of interviews. They spend hours testing. They spend hours in front of in interviewing with people. 1% of the people that apply for jobs with us get through to our clients. Think about that. 1%. So we've mastered the concept of finding the best people for those positions. And then it gets down to what most Americans like to do is I hire somebody because I like them. And so if I can give you 3 people that can do your job just great, no questions, they can work it out. You then find the person that you really like and connect with and believe that's going to fit into your company culture is what you brought up earlier. That's paramount that they fit into that culture, because I can't tell you that somebody's going to work within your culture. You need to make that decision.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm telling you from my own experience, because we have been hiring people from Philippines for more than a decade. And I can tell you that that is a difference in culture, right? And but once you and it takes time to find the right person. This is and also how you deal with them until you learn the difference in culture. It takes time. However, in our experience, they are very loyal, very productive, right? And but what I want to stretch more is this part of virtual employees, because you see our company is operating virtual from a long time, to the point that when COVID came, everybody was looking at our company. I said, okay, let's keep doing exactly what we were doing, because most of all our company operates remotely. Yeah. So now, do you see that it was after COVID more demand, so people are more open to hire virtual employees? What do you think that is the main reason? And are these virtual employees delivering in all roles? In our experience, we have from software development, social media, video editing. This very podcast that we're doing has been set up and organized and programmed and everything from employees from Philippines. Um, so some of them have been working for us over 10 years, and they stay there. And sometimes I asking them, right? I said, look, guys, why you don't find another job? Working for us for so many years. If you go somewhere else, they will pay you more. I know. And they say, Harry, we love to work with you, and we're happy with how much you pay us. So we're happy. We're good. That's so. They have this. I think it's embedded in the culture. This this loyalty that that is sometimes very important to build. Um, uh, to build an organization. It's part of our culture also to help them to develop and to create a space for them. Over there, they have challenges, and this is the question that I want to do. How the employees from US face the challenges that they have over there, which is a power cut. You see, power cuts, storms. Sometimes rains a lot. The internet goes slow. You name it. So there is a lot of challenges that us as employees have to deal with. When you employ people from Philippines, more than one, because a lot of things happen there, and they also need to go to church. That's important, very important for them. So you cannot have them around when it's church times and things like that. So how the U.S. market, how flexible they are, because I think that now, in order for you to attract talent to your organization, you have to be flexible. It doesn't work anymore that, hey, you need to come 9 to 5 and you have to work in this time. Actually, sometimes is they're sleeping there, so they cannot work. I mean, there is very late for them sometimes, right?
Well, we make them work a regular shift. I mean, this is a full-time permanent job with benefits and other in healthcare and dental care, and it is
Wow.
a real job.
They work our client hours.
They
So
do.
wherever you are in the world, they'll work your hours, regardless of what they are back in the Philippines. So
Yeah.
they work evenings, nights, all night, whatever that would be. But like I said, we give them healthcare benefits. They get dental benefits.
They
We
get paid about 30 to 40% more than they were making in a call center.
We have a retirement program for them to take
Right.
care of them
Wow.
years from now.
Yeah.
They clamor to come to work for us. That's why we get so many that apply.
And because we're an agency, we're able to offer them, they are able to apply for loans, and they're able to get a lot of the things that you would want your employees to get. I think that's a real distinction than people who are just going on Upwork or Online Jobs PH and just hiring somebody. You're going to have a lot of the challenges you just mentioned when you do that. You're not going to have, the backups. You're not going to have the vetting. You're not going to have all of that because you're relying on one person and you don't know what you don't know. But we've done this thousands and thousands of times. We have over 1,050 people working for us. We got all of that dialed in. Our clients are not
Our first
impacted.
employee started almost to the day 10 years ago and is still working with us.
Yeah, wow.
And there's many more is working many years with us and with our clients. And they stay because they want the family, they want the commitments that we make to them, and they're willing to make the commitments to us and to our clients. And the clients benefit because they save money, but they have somebody that'll answer the phone, do tasks, and just take care of things because they really care. And that's a hard thing to find nowadays, somebody that really cares and wants to do a job.
So we're a little different than what you were explaining. We solve a lot of those business problems for our clients
that existed. Yeah,
we set it up.
Yeah, there are a lot of problems, like I said, time problems, internet, storms, dates, and also times different. So times different. So, but then at the end of the day, when they are when they are trained, they deliver amazing performance. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, we have a very high success rate, and our clients have had them for years, and we continue to add to them.
And then, so what tasks can be done virtually? Can you expand the scope for our audience so people can learn a little bit more?
So, I mean, realistically, anything that can be done with a computer and a phone can be done remotely. The reality is at HireSmart Virtual Employees, we typically focus on support roles like administrative, market support, accounting support, customer service. We do a lot in customer service, and we do a lot in sales support because people don't have the time, energy, and effort to follow up on leads and to do all of that type of work. And we all know that it takes, the latest statistic I saw was 15 touches before you close a deal. Well, I don't have time as a business owner to be following up with people 15 times before they utilize our service. So I have an executive sales assistant. That is what her role is. And so a lot of it is just tasks that we know how to do, but it's not a good use of our skill set or time. And so having a virtual employee do that, and because we only do full-time dedicated people, they're not distracted. They really are, again, aligned with the mission of our clients and are there to do those types of works and tasks that they've been hired to do. And because we scientifically hire, they like doing those tasks. That's what they were made for. And so that, I think, is one of the reasons we've been so successful.
So tell us a little bit more how it works. So the client needs a social media manager, and then they talk to you guys and said, guys, I'm looking for a social media manager. Yeah. So, and then what happened after that? Tell us how the process works.
So we have a one-page intake form and a contract, obviously agreement. We need to make sure that we're in alignment with what we offer and what the client needs. And then they pay us. We're a paid search firm. So we don't, we have guarantees and things like that, but we invest a lot in that scientific a process, and we spend a lot of time. We have a new client orientation. We explain the process again. We give them 3 amazing people. We host those interviews. They're back to back to back, 15 to 20 minutes for our clients. Because remember, all I need them to do is choose the one they like. You can usually tell within 15 minutes whether you respond to somebody or you feel like they're going to connect in. And then we have what we call my secret sauce, which is the certification process. For those of you who are listening, it's like a 1-week boot camp on our clients' type of role and positions. And we put them through an actual live training. So it's not recording back through. You have to have paid attention to my live trainers. We have a 3-hour exam that you cannot chat GPT or Google your way out of. You have to have been paying attention to our live trainers. So that tells me that they can take notes, reference those notes, and apply the knowledge. And then also in that week, we mentor them. What does good communication look like? What does it sound like? What do good employees do? How do you model that behavior? Because a lot of people don't know what a good job looks like or sounds like or know what to do. We have a rule here at HireSmart that we call the 2-minute rule, which is you will respond to any request in any channel within 2 minutes during working hours. That's a rule.
Does your staff do that?
Ours does.
2 minutes.
Yes.
And if somebody puts in an order for us, fills out our intake form, it takes a little bit of time to go through that. It'll take us 3-4 weeks, unless it's during the holidays. It may take an extra week to do that, to find somebody that can then start working at their company. And it's typically faster than an individual at some company can put an ad and get 10,000 resumes off of some kind of a listing service and have to sift through that and go through it. So we're very quick in what we're doing and putting people to work for our clients. It's a real fast turnaround, and our clients love it. Our success rate is in the high 90s.
Oh,
we have to manage that because we have guarantees, and we have to keep those people that we're placing there, the right people in there, so that they meet our guarantees.
Now, let's tell a little bit more about working with your partners, something that we were talking before. So how challenging it is in business working with your life partner, and how you guys distribute the task?
Well, we made some decisions a long time ago, and I am a visionary. Anne is an implementer. And so we both have our own skill sets, and we can cross back and forth, and I do implementation, she does vision, but we know what our skill sets are. If it was baseball, it would be you put your better batter in at the right position when it comes 100%. Around for batting, right? So in our business, we delegate responsibilities to who's the better batter. And that person has ultimate responsibility, decision-making. Anne's responsible for an area. I'll give her my opinion, but whatever she decides in the bottom line, whether it aligns with my opinion or not, I will support it. Likewise, goes back and forth with her supporting me. That takes the conflict out because we know who's responsible in which department. And from the very beginning, that has been so, so helpful.
Well, and also I think nobody has my back better than him, right? Nobody wants more success in the business or us personally than each other. And so we love working together. I know lots of people are, not alignment. That's just not their thing. And a lot of it is maybe they're too similar or too different. But Mark and I designed our life the way that we wanted it. And we designed our life to be together. That was a very conscious decision. We do work really well together because we do have slightly overlapping skill sets, but very, very different. But I think a lot of it just comes down to respect. There's nobody I respect more in the world than my husband. And so therefore, when he has an idea, I try to be open and listen to it. I'm not always successful, as he will tell you.
Yeah. And I respect her ideas and what she does. And she is the very best at putting things together in motion. I can dream up some idea, but if it's not, and that's what a lot of these entrepreneurs come up with. I've got a great idea. Let's start this business. We live in a rural country atmosphere here, and there's places that have barbecue, And we use the analogy because barbecues all over, there's little places all over town. Somebody comes up with an idea, says, I've got a great barbecue sauce. And their friends say, you should start a restaurant. They don't know anything about running a restaurant, but they make good barbecue sauce. And so they're not working off of what their given concepts of running a business are. We have those ideas. We have those drilled down very well. And we know how to divide up the responsibilities on our jobs and by the department. So I think it's been very effective and very good. We're doing real well. We've got a lot of big plans for the next 1, 3, 5, and 10 years. And we do look that far down the road, because if you don't, it's going to come up on you and you're not going to be prepared.
So how you decide to make a business about hiring people from abroad? How everything started? Tell us the story.
That's a good story.
So we had our background is rooted in real estate. That's kind of how we originally started our very first business over 25 years ago. And at this particular juncture, we had taken our first vacation in 7 years. Because as entrepreneurs, you're working all the time, right? Somebody's got to answer that phone. Somebody's got to do all that stuff. Even if you have
What was
employees.
that business?
It was a property management
We manage
business.
residential.
Wow, tell me about it. I own
property,
one of those
long-term
ones.
rentals, yeah.
Yeah. And so we get to the beach the next, like we left on a Thursday. It's Friday morning. We get up not so early and we go to our favorite restaurant down there. And my texts start blowing up. And the marketing manager that I left in charge says, I'm leaving and I'm not coming back. And didn't tell anybody else in the office. The phone is ringing off the hook.
Just left her keys and walked out.
And walked out. And I was like, well, that stinks. She couldn't wait till we get back. I mean, seriously, you knew this was my first vacation in 7 years. Like, why can't you just like wait? But she couldn't, for whatever personal reason.
She had some challenges.
I get it. And honestly, that day that I thought was the worst day ended up being one of our very, very best days, because it required that we think differently. And we had read the book, The World is Flat, a few years before. And so we kind of understood some of the concepts in that. Of course, the 4-hour work week, we had read that. And so we were at a mastermind event a few months afterwards and kind of got introduced to somebody that had hired someone, from the Philippines. And so we said, look,
let's try that.
And so fast forward, it was the best decision we ever made. And again, because of the fact that, again, all the things I said you need to do to get your first million, be able to serve, we wanted to serve the Philippine people. We wanted to give them a better opportunity. That's why we provide healthcare, dental care, retirement plans, all of those things, because we really wanted them to be able to work from their home office. Now, back 10 years ago, a lot of them didn't have home offices.
Yeah, they all went to call centers.
And so now post-COVID, it has definitely allowed, a better, wider pool of applicants, because more people have done that. But back in the day, it was, we had a very tight, process.
And we pioneered that concept.
We did, because everybody would do ad hoc or project based or something, but nobody was really hiring full-time dedicated people. And that is, again, kind of what started, but we needed somebody full-time. We needed somebody who loved our customers. We needed somebody that we could train and mentor. We needed somebody that really was that valuable team member, but just not physically here.
Yeah, we didn't need a call center where every phone call was answered by a fourth person. We wanted that same individual to have the heart for our company that we did. And so that required us doing it full time and putting that person to work out of their home. And that made a big life change for them, because if anybody knows heavy traffic in any major metropolitan city, it's an hour to work plus. And that's what the people in the Philippines are encountering, because the traffic's horrendous. So if they're working from home, that gives them 1, 2, maybe 3 hours more per day at home with their family. That is a valuable thing that we offer to our employees. So think about that. We give them better pay, we give them more time with their families, health care, dental care, a retirement plan. Wouldn't you want to come to work for us?
And then, so that's the other thing as well, is that once you have these Victor employees, because at the end of the day, it's all about attracting talent to your organization, and the fact that they are virtual, you can have more chance anyway in order to grow a successful business. One big part of it is to attract talent to your organization, and we talk about culture, and to bring the people that align to your culture, because once you have an employee that can produce amazing results, this is something that make your company grow faster, and then it's also more effective, because when you have the wrong people in your organization, everything kind of stop. Everything kind of especially in small companies. One of the reasons that they handle it. Even myself, at the beginning, I was hiring really fast. I didn't have time. I'm wearing all the hat. That was the main reason why I need people, because of um, that thing. But I remember the same thing. What the first time that I went with Lily from holiday with my partner. Yeah, we're doing a property management company. Yeah, and then what happened is one of our employees stole from us, stole for a lot of money, and then disappear. And again on the same day of holiday. Yeah, after you build a business, in our case, we were like it was the first holiday that we spent together in a while, because we were very intense growing the company. The company was successful, honestly. It was growing, and in this phase of growth, you have to be around. So, but after the growing, and it got to a certain size, we wanted to go on holiday, and this is what happened. So that made me rethink about the hiring process, that we had to take care more deeply about how we hire people and what type of people we want to bring in our organizations, in order to avoid that this doesn't happen again, right?
That's true. We have clients in all aspects of growth and startup and multi-million dollar. We'll have small companies that'll get started, and they grow their company just using virtual staff. Some certainly can use local staff and hire that way. We have people that'll come to us and say, we're getting close to the end. We're going to need to start putting more dollars on our bottom line to make us more valuable to sell. And so they'll come to us and they'll start using us to grow their business after they've already grown for years. And because when somebody sells a business, they sell it based on a multiple of their profit. And so if they can bring somebody on board with us from the Philippines at about 20 to 30 cents on the dollar of what they would pay for a local person, it just adds to that bottom line. It makes it more valuable to sell. So we've had people across all aspects of business opportunities and growth and all that have come to us that we serve as their resource for recruiting. And then on an ongoing basis, we are the HR team for them to support all of these remote workers that we place with them. So we don't go away once we place somebody with our clients. And so we've had clients, some of our original clients are still with us. We're still partners to help them every day in growing their business.
Yeah. And then if someone is in love with our conversation and they want to find more about you guys, how can they find you? How this process works?
Oh, great. So they can go to our website, which is www.hiresmart, for virtualemployees.com, just like it sounds. If anybody wants to meet with me, they can go to meetwithanne.com, and I'll be happy to have a conversation with you about your particular business and how we might be able to serve you. Again, we only do support roles. For those that may want to understand, you had asked the question like, well, what can a virtual employee do? We have HireSmart virtualemployees.com/tasks, plural, and that'll give you a download of 47 things that they can do that you really, as a CEO,
You shouldn't be doing.
You should not be doing. You should be hiring a virtual employee to do these things. And so there's several different ways that we can add value to your listeners and help them with whatever their challenges are.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And for all of you listening, see you in our next episode of Unstoppable: How Brave Entrepreneurs like HireSmart Virtual Employees break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.